recognize that this is supposed to be a slow process, that it is going to be a difficult process. Health should not be a punishment. Just forgive yourself. Be gentle. Be kind. So despite me running a horror movie review channel, this is by far the most requested video I've ever done. So I wasn't going to do this, but it's been about 5 or 6 months since I made that first video on my experiences on Mounjaro, the good, the bad, the weird. Yeah, I mean, first of all, I want to just thank everybody. The support and the positivity in the comments was a vast majority of the comments, and very, very greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. It was really nice to hear from everybody. So yeah, I kind of wanted to just do this follow-up. First of all, it has been almost 6 months. It also has rounded the corner on a new year, and a lot of people may be going down the path of trying to lose weight right now, which means this may be pertinent information. If you're wanting or interested in going on Mounjaro, I recommend watching that first video first, because I cover a lot of the basics, especially in the getting started thing. This is going to be my update on that, where I've been, what has worked, what hasn't, and where I see things going from here. Just a little bit of a sit rep. I am about 20 pounds lighter than I was at that video. But that's not to say that everything has been completely on track, because frankly, it hasn't. Also, sorry if I seem, bags under the eyes and my voice is a little deeper right now. I'm just waking up. That's all it is. When I first wake up, my voice is gravel. The vocal cords haven't had a chance to relax yet. Anyway, so yeah, one of my goals from the first video was I had an upcoming vacation at that point upcoming, and that was back in late September, early October. And I wanted to be able to comfortably fit on the airplane. And I'm very pleased to report that, yes, I was. I almost cried. It was nice. I sat down in the seat. It's not like there was tons of room. It was Allegiant Airlines. It was a commuter airline. There's no such thing as a lot of room. I don't care what size you are. But moment of truth came, buckle up the seatbelt. First of all, I wasn't spilling out over into the other seats, and come time to do the seatbelt, and there was still that much, excess seatbelt once it was buckled, and it was just so happy. And the flight was relatively comfortable. I mean, it wasn't miserable. It was just a flight. It was as uncomfortable as any shuttle flight can be. So that was really nice. When I went on vacation, I wasn't in the best physical fitness. I had dropped weight, and that was definitely showing a lot of physical benefits, but I had not at that point started doing any major exercise routine. I was walking in the mornings periodically. As much as not as much as I should have, but more than I was previous to this whole thing. And one thing about the reality of going to Universal Studios, if you want my update on that, I did a whole separate video on my, Halloween Horror Nights Universal Studios vlog entry. But yeah, it's a lot of walking, and even though I was really glad that I was in as good of a shape as I was not in as good a shape as I should have been for the physical task of being there. But even so, it was fine, because we were actually addressing and being sensitive to some other health concerns within the family. So it's not like all of us were really just running out there to do some high intensity anythings. So one of the big things that was on my mind was, will I fit in the rides? The airplane seat's one thing, rides are another, and really didn't even go on that many rides. Again, being sensitive to the physical issues that we were kind of dealing with as a family, not even with me. So one of the rides that I knew was notorious at Universal Studios Orlando was the Hagrid's motorbike ride in Hogsmeade in Harry Potter Land. Wasn't even really going to get on the ride, but as we passed by it, just walking along, I noticed that they had a tester seat that if you wanted to make sure you fit in the ride before standing in a 3-hour long line, you could go in this tester seat and make sure. So I was like, that's the ride I want to go on. So yeah, basically you sit in it and has the lap bar and, has the attendants standing there, and you pull the lap bar down. And once it gets to a point where I guess on the ride, it's going to safely, lock in place. Instead, this one just lights up a little green light, and that green light lit before it ever touched my body, that bar. So that was a moment for me. That still is a big moment for me. We got done with vacation, and I really haven't lost anything since. I mean, I have, and then I gained it, and then I lost it, and then I gained it. And I attribute that to basically the holidays. Like I said in the first video, this is not a magic pill in terms of weight loss. I do want to clarify vocally. I clarified in text on the edit. I forgot to say this when I said that this Mounjaro isn't a magic pill. So I want to very, very clearly verbalize this now before I forget to say this. It is not a magic pill for weight loss. For management of my A1C, it has been a godsend. My last A1C was like 5.3. It was just, couldn't believe it. So yeah, my checkups have been incredible, and my doctor's just super pleased. That's not just, like I said, not to say everything's been rosy. So I did say that, this is not a magic pill for weight loss, that you still have to do the work. And it's fair to say that I have been doing the work off and on since vacation, but not consistently and not vigorously. Holidays are what they are, and I make no apologies or excuses. But the one thing that I am really trying to do is hold myself accountable and have awareness. So to that end, the one thing that I have done, and I don't really recommend this. If it works for you, it works for you. This is one of those things that you just kind of have to figure out what works for you. If it does, then yeah, it works for me. So I recommend it for myself. Is I weigh myself every day. And I know that weight will fluctuate every day. Water weight, so on. There's a plus minus of 2 pounds or so at any given point in any given day. I try to consistently weigh myself around the same time and under the same conditions. Essentially, sorry if it's TMI, but I weigh myself when I'm naked and I'm about ready to get in the shower. So that way, there's no variations or variables in play with, the what I happen to be wearing at the time. By doing it before I shower, it's generally consistently at the same time of day. So yeah, taking those measurements. But mostly what it's doing is just keeping myself aware. If I had to really kind of nail down what it was like when I previously had weighed myself and was almost 400 pounds, as weird as it was, as weird as this sounds, maybe it doesn't sound weird. Believe me, I've heard so many comments from people that were in the same boat. So for those people, this may not sound weird at all. But the one thing that it really felt like was a shock. And it shouldn't have been. All of the elements were in play. Physical limitations. I was having to adapt my daily lifestyle. I had to adjust my chair to put me lower to the ground to be able to put my shoes on. There were different aspects of my life that were being affected by my weight gain, and I shouldn't have been surprised, but I was. Because it had been so long since I weighed myself. It was always just one of those, I know it's getting bad, but I don't think it's getting that bad kind of thing. I was deluding myself. So weighing myself every day makes sure that, I may have some bad eating days. I may attack those Thanksgiving leftovers, and I may, definitely put on some pounds for it. Actions have consequences, but I am never going to get myself unaware of those consequences. I am always going to be in the know as far as what my body's going through, and I can't say that I turn a blind eye to it. If I choose to ignore it in that particular day and still attack the sweets, well, that's on me. But I'm going to be aware of it, and I'm going to hold myself accountable, and that is never going to change. So I think this is just kind of a lifetime habit for me at this point, is just weighing myself every day, knowing the patterns that I'm going on. So it's not really a method in which to make a daily adjustment to anything. It's just simply being aware and tracking patterns. With Mounjaro, let's before I go into any more of my particular journey in health and physical fitness and so forth, let's pull back and go back to the updates on Mounjaro. So I was on 10 milligrams. I'm now on 7.5. Why did I go down? Because 10 was increasingly difficult to find, and it was becoming an issue. I was getting my medication late, and there were times in which it was scrambling. Like, it was coming to the point in which it was going to be late, and I still couldn't find a provider that had any. I did do a mad scramble and found a provider that had 7.5, called my doctor, said, hey, can you push this prescription through? And I wound up getting that. And I haven't had really that much of an issue getting on 7.5 or finding that. And I don't know what the difference is. Maybe it's just the fact that it's not exactly a round number. Maybe people go up to the round number and hold there, and that's where the majority of the people stay. So 7.5 being kind of the odd, in between outlier will keep me in a place where quantity is available. But I seem to be doing okay on it. I don't want to go up any more than I need to. And so far, if I have been disciplined and I have been doing the work, it still is working for me on the weight loss. And regardless of things, it still is working for me on the A1C management. So I don't see the need to really go up in dose. That being said, that food noise suppression that I talked about in the first video is, the food noise is louder. It's not where it was before I went on Mounjaro, but it is not where it was when I first started or anytime I upped the dosage. So my body seems to be acclimating to it a bit, and there is more discipline involved in tuning that out. So let's get into kind of where I'm at now in terms of my daily routine and my journey as I see it laid out before me. One thing that I kind of wanted to do was address that physical fitness ceiling that I noticed that I had hit, not the weight loss ceiling, but the physical fitness ceiling while I was on vacation. So one thing that I did was start going to the gym. Like, I am a firm believer in calories in, calories out, and that weight loss is achieved in the kitchen and physical fitness is achieved in the gym. And if you want to lose weight, you can lose weight. You don't ever have to do a push-up. That's their calories in. It's amazing how much in the way of exercise you do that burns how few calories it does. And that can be discouraging. I don't go to the gym to lose weight. I go to the gym to be healthier. And there's a difference there. You can lose weight without being healthier. I mean, you're going to have health benefits from losing weight, certainly, but that won't make you inherently healthy. For me, it was a really great starting point. Like, losing 140 pounds is a great starting point. There were aspects of working out that I was afraid of in terms of damaging my body being the size that I was. And those were very valid concerns. So I think that was definitely the right path for me, was losing the weight, or losing a good portion of the weight. I'm by no means done first, and then starting to address the fitness and the cardio and the, so forth. So, I started going to the gym. I have friends that have been going to the gym independent of me and have been for several years now. And I essentially just reached out to them and say, hey, would it ruin the social dynamic if I were to join? And they were happy to have me join in. They were, they've been very supportive and pleased with my journey so far. So the idea that, I want to join them in this and step it up, and, and it provides them a level, more accountability as well. Between the three of us, what we found is that even when two of us don't want to go to the gym, when when the don't wannas are very, very strong, the other one is like, hey, what time are we meeting? And like, okay, we're doing it. And just that level of accountability of pushing past the don't wannas has been immeasurably helpful. Yeah, I've been working out, and that has definitely helped with the weight loss. But more than that, like it has caused it to kind of fluctuate. Like I've been building muscle, which has been counteracting on the scale. So one thing that I did do was I bought a smart scale so I can measure, my actual fat percentage as opposed to just my weight, to give me a little bit of a clearer picture of what my body's going through. It's been helping slightly in terms of weight loss, but more than that, it's been helping in my fitness, because there are things that I had not been able to do, and I'm seeing changes, very positive, beneficial changes in my body and in my capabilities. The idea of walking from one end of work to the other and going up to my coworker's office up on the third floor and taking the stairs there would have been, like I'll get up there and it's like, give me a second. And now I get up there and I'm just having a conversation. It doesn't win me at all. And I work on a place that has some pretty good hills to it. So the cardiovascular benefits have been really nice. The strength benefits have been really nice. Those I don't really see too much out in the real world, but I have noticed in the gym is every day that we do a particular type of exercise, I am further along in what my weight and rep capability is in every set than I was when I started, and I track it all with an app. So I think that one thing that is incredibly important in any health journey is to always have a goal. If you meet your goal, that's fantastic. Stop what you're doing, set a new goal. So my goal was to fit comfortably on the airplane seat for vacation. Once vacation was over, now it's time for a new goal. And my birthday is in late May. So my goal is to comfortably fit in a kayak. I know I can fit in a canoe, but I think kayak would be a little bit cheaper and a little bit more fun. I've done a lot of aquatic sports in my time when I was younger, and kayaking was by far one of the most fun things. So I would love to be able to get up on a lake nearby here, fit in a kayak, and just spend my summer, late springs through summer here in beautiful southern western New York, and just tool along throughout, in some lakes, maybe do a little fishing. But yeah, just get out there in a kayak and fit comfortably within there. There's another goal that might happen, might not. I'm a little hesitant to say, but that one does actually have a fairly strict weight number attached to it. So the kayak thing is a little bit nebulous. It's a little bit, what size would be comfortable kind of thing, which, it may be now. So that's a little tough to say. So I'm setting a different goal. Again, I'm not going to say exactly what it is because the universe hasn't really gelled on it yet. But it's tentatively planned for the summer, and it has a weight limit to be under 235 pounds. So I'm currently at 265. Well, a little under now. I've lost a little since that last weigh-in. But yeah, so that's about 30 pounds to lose between now and summer, which is, about 7 to 8 months away. I think that's very doable in the pattern that I've been going on. So that's where I'm at. As far as side effects with the Mounjaro goes, The only one that really kind of still rears its head, well, the two ones that kind of rear their head, one hasn't really been an issue lately, but let's get to that one first. The reason it hasn't been an issue lately is because this seems to only really happen when I'm eating poorly, like purposefully poorly. Thanksgiving leftovers, Christmas ham, cookies, poorly, is the sulfur burps. If I am having a really off day of eating and not necessarily even binging, I really haven't binged, which I'm very happy about, by the way, but just generally eating shitty. That's when I'll get the sulfur burps, and it'll be like, during the night, and it's a little bit of a, like, hey, you knew better. Now you're going to, actions have consequences. Here's your consequences served up on a nice sulfury platter. The other one that still happens frequently, even when I'm eating right. And I think, you know what, I'm going to say, especially when I'm eating right, when I'm like really kind of in the zone and I'm properly adhering to things, is the cold. The inability to regulate my body temperature. Now, I will say that it has never been as bad as that first time that it happened that I discussed in the first video. One thing that I have done, I have been doing in my eating practices is a bit of, not purposefully, but intermittent fasting. So generally what that means for me is I don't eat breakfast. I mean, that's essentially it. I have my eating window from 11 to 6 or 7, and that's not like a hard and fast thing. It's just generally when I eat. The day I don't like, I typically work out and go to the gym in around lunchtime. So, between 11:30 and noon is when I go to the gym, and I don't like having anything in my stomach. I just don't. It especially for cardio days. When I'm hitting the treadmill, man, I don't like feeling that bogged down. It's not fun. So yeah, I'm fine. I don't really, the food noise thing, the Mounjaro thing, it's fine. I don't really feel that hungry. By the time I'm about to work out, yeah, I'm hungry. And then when I work out, like by the time I'm done with that, like I'm wrecked. So it's like the hunger has definitely quieted a lot, and I can approach lunch in a very sensible manner. In that intermittent fasting, I have noticed that as I approach the tail end of it, so we're getting to the 9 a.m., 10 a.m. area, and that's when I notice I start getting the cold spells. And it's winter here, so it doesn't help. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't really seem to matter how hot I get the house. I'm still kind of bundled up, like, oh, okay. But that's fine. The other thing that I have as far as a goal goes is not a weight loss goal. It's a fitness goal. And that is something that I used to do 15, 16, 20 years ago. I don't even remember now. But a while ago was I had trained for 5Ks. I had done the Couch to 5K program, and I had achieved what I never thought would be possible, and that was to have fun running. Life difficulties and stresses and so forth kind of got in the way, and I got derailed. I never really forgot how good that felt, and I want to start that again. So again, I was kind of worried anytime I had this thought about doing damage to myself. And there have been now a couple things to address that now I feel comfortable. I'm in a good place to start doing this. First of all, I got my weight down to a level where I feel like I can. Second, I have been working diligently for the last few months of walking with vigor on the treadmill, like really getting myself good and properly winded, 2 miles, really good pace, good elevation, getting my heart rate up there, and, a good strenuous cardio workout. which was tough, especially the first week or two, getting my legs in shape, getting past the muscle soreness and the muscle burn. And one thing about doing Couch to 5K is that it's a little difficult where I am because, like I said, it's winter, it's Western New York, there's snow on the ground. I don't want to slip and break my knee and then just like completely put myself out. So while winter's around, if I'm going to train for Couch to 5K in a way that I feel safely comfortable doing, then it's going to be on the treadmill. And I've never in my life run on a treadmill. Every time I trained for Couch to 5K before, it was during the spring, summer, around beautiful flat paths around a pond. And yeah, so this was going to be new for me. And I dipped my toes in very slowly. During one of my walks, I just kind of got to a really good clip and I increased it. I increased the speed to the point where I was still walking, but I was zipping and barely able to keep up. I was kind of worried I was going to fall off the machine, but I did that for a while. And the thing that I was noticing was there were certain points in which I felt like I could lift off. Now, my version of running is what a lot of people would call jogging, but the definition I do is generally just lifting off the ground. I don't sprint. Certainly not for 5K, but I run. But yeah, going at that speed, walking, it felt like, if I wanted to, I could lift up. I could start running. I didn't, not for a while. And then one day I decided to try it. Like I was in the middle of the workout, things were feeling really good. And I decided I'm going to see what it's like to run on the treadmill. And I increased the speed up past that really, really good clip point and kind of put myself into a running trot speed for about 30 seconds or so. And it felt really weird to be on a treadmill running, but I just got the feel for it. Once I did that and I knew that I could do this, I stopped. I continued on with the exercise. I continued on with the walking and hitting the gym and so forth. But at that point, I kind of wanted to address the injury thing. So what I did was I scheduled an appointment and I went to Fleet Feet, which if you've never heard of Fleet Feet, it's a store that sells running shoes. And it's generally kind of, I would say not Olympic level, but, fairly high level, prosumer level running shoes. But they measure your feet. They have plates that you stand on that take digital measurements of your feet, and they have plates that you walk on, and it takes digital measurements of your gait and your walking path and maneuvers, and it tells them generally what shoe you would benefit from and what inserts you would benefit from of having in those shoes. So based on that, I got my Hoka running shoes, and they feel amazing. This is one thing that if you're interested in running, I strongly recommend getting yourself a good pair of running shoes because you have no idea the benefit until you actually try it. So once I got these, I was like, okay, it's not time to start training, but it's time to start training for the training. First, I put on the shoes and I did a couple days of exercise of just walking to kind of get myself comfortable wearing the shoes. And yeah, like I said, it's just night and day. You take one step on the heel and you just instantly want to rock forward. It feels like you're just naturally lifting off with no real, not no effort, but it just feels so natural, comfortable, and supportive. I have the flattest feet of anybody on earth. At that point, once I felt comfortable in walking in them, then I decided to go ahead and see if I could do on a physical level the first day of Couch to 5K, which if you've never heard of the program, there's different variations of it. It's kind of an open source program, but the one that I'm used to, you start with a 5-minute warm-up walk, then you do intervals of 1 minute running, 90 seconds walking, 1 minute running, 90 seconds walking for about 21 minutes or so. And then a 5-minute cool down. So it's about half an hour generally of the entirety of the workout. where you're doing an alternate run walk. And I wanted to see if I could do that. And I could. I managed to do it. And damn, did it kill me. My calves were so sore the next couple days. But I did it. And then Christmas break hit. And the gym that I go to was closed. And it didn't open back up until January 4th. So 3 days ago. So the first day that it opened, I was having the serious case of the don't wannas. Then my friends, one of them also didn't wanna, but then one of them said, what time are we meeting? So the accountability kicked in and we all went. Very happy and proud about that. I was just gonna walk, but I decided while I was on the treadmill to just, do some of those intervals again. And I did. And I was very scared because it had been, a little while since I had been at the gym. And the last time my calves were really burning. And you know what? This time, I felt nothing but, a good workout. And the day after, didn't feel sore at all. So now I feel like I'm at a good point. And tomorrow, I begin the proper Couch to 5K program. I begin properly training to run a 5K. So that's my fitness goal, is to be able to run a 5K. I would love to compete in one. I'm going to be down in Kentucky for an event with my wife in July. And at this particular event, they have a 5K opportunity. I don't know about running in the Kentucky heat in the middle of July, but I'm going to train for it. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. So, there we have it. That's my update on the Mounjaro thing. It's not quite as potent as it has been. The side effects are still there, and I still have to adhere to good practices and discipline. This is something that I've talked a lot about lately with my friends and so forth, is if you are thinking about going on a diet routine or losing weight or generally getting healthier, it's the best thing in the world. I strongly recommend it, but take any thought of the quick or easy solutions and just take them off the table, because it's not realistic. This is going to be a long, slow, and hard process. This has been the hardest journey of my life. I was a pack-a-day smoker and I quit cold turkey, and that has nothing on the difficulty that I personally have faced in this aspect of my my health journey. This has been the hardest thing that I've ever done, but it's been immensely beneficial, and I want to continue it for the rest of my life, which thankfully is a lot, the end of my life is a lot further away now. Ideally, hopefully, never know what today brings, but the numbers that I've been seeing in my blood pressure, my A1C, it has been so great. And one thing that people were really kind of commenting on was my raw, honest, so forth. So I'm going to do that now. Down there, I don't really have a light going here. Down there, here and here. You can't really see it because of the microphone. Let me move it for just a second here. Are Final Girl board games. Why do I bring this up? Because this is a Kickstarter that I supported, and especially the first game, once I supported it, it took a while to actually come to fruition and see the game physically in my hands. And by a while, I mean like a year and a half, 2 years. Since the time that I put the money down, I backed the Kickstarter and actually, had the product shipped to me, which is fine. I mean, that's what I signed up for. But while I was waiting, that, year and a half, 2 year long wait, there were moments in my life when, I was, 400 pounds. And I remember having the thought of, it's not like this is something that I was trying to live for. But I would remember having the thought, like, I hope I live long enough to actually be able to play this game. That, I would manage to make it another couple months. That looking back on it, that's very sobering. And now I just don't even have that concern. Like I have these summer goals. I'm not worried that I'm going to not be around to meet them. I'm not even really worried that I'm going to meet them. I know that I will. I'm excited to meet them. I'm worried about, what things are going to look like when I retire in 17 years. That's a good long way away kind of worry to have. I'm happy to have a worry that far away and not have to worry about, I hope, the Kickstarter that I backed that I'll actually be able to physically hold in my hands. If you are going on this health journey, if you are going to start doing the weight loss thing on your own with Mounjaro or with Ozempic or with Wegovy or nothing but your grit and guile, I wish you the absolute best. The first thing you're going to feel is excitement. The excitement will wane. The second thing you're going to feel is motivation. Motivation will wane. The third thing is what's going to actually get you through to success. And that's discipline. You're going to have excitement. You're going to have motivation. And those things will pop up periodically. But you have to be able to lean on discipline. So take your time. Talk to your doctor. Do it for your health. Recognize that this is supposed to be a slow process, that it is going to be a difficult process, and that your excitement and your motivation will not always be there. And when that happens, discipline. And when that falters, don't beat yourself up. Don't get to a point where if you have a bad eating day that it ruins tomorrow, because it doesn't have to. Don't use it as a way to punish yourself by eating better tomorrow either. Don't say, I had, the cheeseburger combo thing that I shouldn't have had and I supersized it and whatever because I was feeling really tired and I didn't want to cook on Thursday. So Friday, I'm going to punish myself with nothing but salads, water, and running. That's no good either. Health should not be a punishment. Just forgive yourself. Be gentle. Be kind. I mean, that's just generally my advice for all aspects of your life, internally, externally. Just be kind. Use a kind voice on yourself. Say, yeah, you may have been, made some better choices on Thursday, but you know what? Friday's a new day. I forgive. It's okay. Let's just get back on track. Let's be kind, let's meet our goals, and let's do this. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll talk to you all soon. Likely getting back to horror movie reviews. Hopefully, if you like this channel, you can stick around for those, but if that's not your bag, I get it. It's been just the weirdest thing that the Mounjaro video has been one of the most wildly successful ones of the 5 years I've been on YouTube, and one of the reasons I almost didn't want to make this video here is because making videos that are outside of my content wheelhouse that do well actually hurt the rest of my content. But I figured this was important enough. YouTube's algorithm. What are you going to do? But I figured this was an important enough message as people are getting started at the new year that maybe it's worth doing this update. So thank you again. I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day. Bye.